I definitely have noticed the writing on the wall that I teach 3 full-time guys on the tour and about 3 that come into Arizona to get their work done. But then I view Preston, now I do, you view Preston, Grace, and Cam as tour players, that meaning they have to be a priority as well. So outside of that, you know, I say no about 90% of the time, even with the new rates and you know, growing fees. I still say no 90% of the time. It has to be the right fit. And I will say this, that's interesting, and I think it's important to just be who you are and be authentic and to be open. If you follow me on Instagram, you will notice that Tony is my guy and that my kids and my family is everything to me. So the guys that I end up working with, they already know that.
Right.
They've seen that. And so I tend to get guys like today, Taylor Gooch is out there, and my kids are right next to him. He's talking to him. He's there inside the ropes.
This is what you're signing up for.
Yes, they know that, and they like that. Tony loves, you know, the fact that he's played a role in inspiring, being a mentor, getting, you know, my kids around those tour players and those tour events. I mean, Preston started going to tour events with me at 9. I was, you know, roommates with Charles Howell and teammates with Bo Van Pelt. He was 9. They let him inside the ropes at the World Match Play. There's only 64 of the best players in the world there. He's playing the 18th hole with Bo and Charles the day before Charles goes on to beat Tiger Woods in the first round. So he's been around the game and inside the ropes with these big-time names for a long time. But Tony's been amazing to my kids. Taylor's been amazing to my kids. You know, Wyndham loves the kids. And so they know what they're signing up for, and they actually, I can tell they love it.
I think it gives a sense of normalcy. You know, in the world of being rich, being famous, going to the best places in the world, my coach is so stable. And that's what I think people strive for, is stability in their life. So it's not just in golf, but outside the course, I want to be around good people. And there's a value to that. There's a value to being around Tony Finau, who has 5 children and is a great person. Because let's face it, there's people that are not. And the ones that are not are looking for that, but they have too big of an ego potentially to not to like actually really have discipline to put themselves in that position. I think being around you is a safe haven for a lot of folks, in the sense of they know they're just around good company. You know, I watch, obviously I follow you all the time, and we chat a lot, but even when I'm watching you and at Silverleaf with you know, it's you and John Rahm and Tony Finau and P and some of his buddies, like, that's fun environment. Yeah. You know, it's like most people don't get to do those things. Yeah. So let's be appreciative of the fact that we're not only around the best of the best in the world, we're also around really good people at the same time, which makes it that much more, I think, appealing and appetizing to people. Be like, this is why I want to be around Boyd Summerhays, because I'm around this type of quality in my life. So I commend you for that. And I think that's really what you put out there too, especially with the family stuff, because 70% of your Instagram is Cam, Grace.
It's just a family journal, pretty much, sprinkled in with a couple of tour players.
That's right.
When they do something great. But when you said something about like, where do you find that balance, or how do you keep going when you're that busy? I've just tried to structure my job how I want it. As far as, if my kids are out on the road with me, I don't even feel like it's work. I mean, Preston started traveling with me on the road at 9 and 10. Grace, she got to come out on the road, same thing, when she's 9 and 10. Cam, 9 and 10 years old, start coming to the tournaments, getting used to the flow of the job. And I always call it, they're my assistants out there on the road, and that makes it fun for me. So that when you're done with the grind, you're back home in the hotel or the house you're renting, and it makes it fun for me, because I feel like I can still be a dad and not miss out on that. Because I think that's what I noticed. I was teaching sun up, sundown for about 3 years before Preston started playing tournaments. And once he started playing tournaments, it just changed everything. I was like, okay, I'm not going to miss any of these tournaments. Yep. I'm not going to teach as many juniors, because I don't want to go to a tournament and have other juniors in the field that, rightfully so, if they were taking lessons from me, they'd want me to watch them, help them warm up. Parents will be asking me questions. It was like I really just have always adapted what I was doing really fast of what I needed to do, just constantly adapting as the kids got older and better and whatever. And I knew literally when Preston went to college, I'm like, whoa, I'm going to start teaching less at home because I want to go to his college events.
Sure.
Grace went to college early. I'm
Right.
like, whoa, I'm going to step back even a little bit more so I can go to her tournaments. Now Cam's hungry and wanting to get good. So I'm like, you know, I set it up to where I know I'm still going to be happy. And then like today, Cam's out with Big Bro on number 16.
Yeah.
Preston hits it to like 3 inches. Cam, I'm like, I was telling him for 9 holes, you know, just trying to prep him. Like, you're hitting on 16, like trying to get him nervous, because that's what I did with Preston growing up. He was doing clinics and corporate outings with me when he was 9 and 10 years old, just getting used to the energy of it, the nerves of it. I always say when you become comfortable, you know, the more uncomfortable you are in those situations, you just become more comfortable, right? So it becomes normal. And so Cam gets up there on 16 and hits a really nice shot. Hits the green and it barely comes off, but it's like he's starting to get the same experiences that Preston and Grace did, and it's really fun. So I think that's an important thing in business, anybody's career, you, me, anybody, is that you see what you always got to be tweaking.
That's
and
my
adapting.
next question actually to you, is that I noticed that as my career has moved forward, that who I look at as somebody that I want to be like, or not necessarily even be like, but I want to have that level of success, it changes.
Yeah.
Are there coaches that you look at that not only do you admire, but you say, I would like to have that one day?
The coaches I like out there, the ones that are helping people get better, but are pretty humble. I always like that. It's like, let your work do the talking for you. The golf is a cool sport, and that, yes, you got a couple of jerks out there, but in general, I really believe 80%, 85% of the tour, I really enjoy the guys. Like I love, you know, not even guys that I teach, just the interactions out there. There's a lot of great guys, and there's a lot of cool coaches too. So I've been lucky that way. That golf is a sport that attracts a pretty cool crowd.
It does seem like at that high level, though, that there is this fraternity of people really know. I mean, obviously everybody knows you, but it's weird because if I'm at a tournament, like take the waste management, you know, I'll be around you, I'm sure this weekend or whatnot. Everyone knows you, and you know everybody. Yeah. But that's kind of golf, because there's so limited people in the world of who makes it to that level, right?
And you're traveling with those guys.
You travel with them
every week, right?
It's like NASCAR in a sense, right? Like there's only so many great drivers out there that travel to these things. Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've enjoyed that. The longer I've been doing it, the more I value, you know, the friendships even outside the guys I coach, you know, where you're excited to see some of the guys that you were on the President's Cup team or Ryder Cup teams, and you get to know guys more in those settings. And some of the guys that are viewed as kind of the jerks out there, some of the nicest guys, and some of the guys that are kind of not that cool have a perception of being really cool. So
I'd love some names right now.
Please
Please drop some names.
You know that's
on
not my style.
That would be great.
This is water in the
Just
solo
write
cup.
it.
You're not getting me saying.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Don't worry. That
it's
is
true
water.
that the public perception of certain guys that are great on camera, and you know, they're the opposite behind the scenes.
Yeah. Hey, so I'm going to put you on the spot.
Oh, let's do it.
3 of your best moments professionally. Meaning as a coach or a player. If you could, I'm sure there's more than 3.
But definitely not as a player. That's the cool thing now. It's like, no, not as a player. As a, you know, I think if I had to list it, definitely seeing Preston win his first Utah State Am. He beat a kid that is on the Korn Ferry Tour now. Preston was 15. This player, Kyle Dunkel, was I think a junior in college or a sophomore, and he was out driving Preston by 80 yards, and Preston knew it was his last chance to be the youngest ever. And I flew from Shinnecock. Tony got the lead on Saturday. I took the red eye just to watch him play, and then took the red eye back to see Tony play the final round in Shinnecock. And Preston made the putt on the last hole to win 3 and 2. And I mean, I've known for a long time his demeanor is great for the game. He loves the game. He works hard. But when this putt went in, you know, and we try to be classy as a family, or that's what I want out of my kids. Like, let your clubs do the talking. You know, and his reaction when he sees the putt goes in, it's just like a full body pump, and he's so fired up. And then he snaps out of it, and he goes, takes off his hat, and shakes his hand. And I was like, he's got the killer instinct. You know, he wants to win. He's not afraid of it. And that was a cool moment as a dad and a coach. But that was like that moment where you're like, whoa. And
Your son
those
also,
pictures are some of my favorite, like the frame by frame of him seeing the putt going in. You can see his eyes getting bigger. He's stepping away. And then it was almost like when Tiger made his putt in 2018, where it was my favorite Tiger reaction, where he's not rehearsing that. He doesn't know what he's going to do. And that's what happened with Preston. I was like, wow, that was really cool.
I think what's
here right now, she can attest to that.
What's
that
amazing,
was like
though, about
moment.
Preston is, for how young he is, his demeanor is so incredible.
Yeah.
His poise.
Yeah, it's good for golf for sure.
It's incredible. Yeah. I mean, and I think it shows why he went, like, he's a closer.
He's a closer.
You know, I mean, he's got that poise of, I'm not going to get rattled, and at such a young age. So that would be one.
That's one of them. And I don't want to rank him because
that's fine.
Another one's kids. But, like, I would say Grace, I caddied for her when she won the Women's State Am to become the youngest ever. She won at the same course you came up and watched Preston at Soldier Hollow. And
that course is really fun to walk, by the way.
Super fun, huh? But she's different than Preston. She's a perfectionist. She's amped up she's wound up tight, and she had to learn how to.
Is that right?
Yeah, it took her a couple of years of, like, tournament golf to really be able to be calm in the fire. And she's 2 up. Yeah, 3 up, excuse me. She has like an 8-footer to go 4 up, and pretty much she only have 4 more holes to go. She's dormy in golf, so if she loses all the holes, she still will go to an extra hole at the end of the match. She hits it a little too hard, catches the lip, and goes by like 3 feet, and she misses it. And it was like the oddest thing where she was so close to closing out the match. Now she's only 2 up, and just you could tell she was really flustered. And so in that moment, I was like, okay, Grace. I'm always like, math was one of my favorite subjects in school. So I'm like, okay, Grace, statistically, her misses to the right. These next 2 holes are wind left to right. You're a better player. You're playing better than she is right now. Let's just do our thing. And I said a couple of different things. I talk a lot differently to my kids than what people would think. I know it fires them up and what makes them laugh and calms them down. But anyway, the very next hole, she bounced back and won the hole. And I was so fired up because I was like, she had a chance to kind of fold or just bounce back, and she did. And when I knew she was going to win, like, it's never over in sports till it's over.
Right.
But I knew it was over on 17. And I started I was crying. I was tearing up. And I was like, wow, this is cool. And so that was a really special moment. And then I always say, like, the next big tournament or the first big tournament that Cam wins will be unreal for me, because I'm not going to be satisfied. It doesn't matter what my kids end up doing, but I got to give all my kids the same shot.
And the same effort on your end, too, right?
100%. And so when Cam wins his first big tournament, that's going to be surreal. But then professionally, I would say when Tony won at Liberty National, the playoff event.
Yeah, last year?
Yeah, because his first win in Puerto Rico was great.
Yeah.
The run of 7-8 years together has been great. The Ryder Cups, he made some huge putts there, did some really cool things. But the struggle to get that second win, how hard he had to work, a couple heartbreaks, with the Waste Management against Webb Simpson, where he birdies the last 2 holes and then wins in a playoff with another birdie. He's had some heartbreaking losses. When he won that night was the coolest, like, golf celebration I've ever had. It was like me and Tony, we don't party much or at all. And so we literally went to Roost Chris after. It was just closing up. We were so fired up that we hardly ate. Then we go to the hotel room and we're talking for a couple hours. And then I go back to my room. He texts me like 30 minutes later. He goes, I can't sleep. Come over here. And we just re-talked about the round all night. And then we hit McDonald's at 3:30. That was kind of the famous, like, what went viral on the Instagram is that we literally went to McDonald's at 3:30 in the morning, and he ordered like a disgusting amount of food, like 3 combos and a milkshake. And so that night was really, really cool. That's something I'll never forget, is that win, being there.
Doesn't that just make it so much tighter, too?
Oh, yeah, for sure. That was really cool. They have one of the coolest pictures where he's pointing to me. You can see the back of my hat. Like, Golf Magazine captured a couple of really cool pictures where it's like literally you don't have to say anything, and
right.
you know a lot went into that or meant to both of us. So because I'm so close to him as a friend, and our business relationship and how much we've been through and how much time we spent as families that he spent with my kids, like I don't know how I mean, Tony's going to be someone, regardless of how long we end up working together, he'll always be somebody that I'm super, super grateful for and respect and admire. And so to see him win and how much it meant to him, that's what made it special to me, is because when he won, it was like the weight of the world was lifted off his shoulders, and that meant a ton to me.
Even watching it, I mean, I was emotional.
Yeah.
I you know, and it's funny too, because Marissa knows, you know, that, you know, any weekend that you guys are in,
yeah.
we're in. And to know that monkey that was on his back, and the fact that, you know, you would always say too, it doesn't get to him. He's so mentally strong. Yeah. But at some point,
yeah.
you hear it. And to finally get that off his back, I knew it was just something that you just felt, all right.
Yeah.
We got it.
Yeah.
And it was real. And I know how hard you guys worked for that one.
Yeah. I would add another moment too. So I started working, me and my brother Daniel are really close. You know, not just because we're brothers, but we have a lot of common interests too. And we grew up playing together, and I was his big bro. And when I started working for him professionally, about 3 years into it, he took third at the PGA. That was really cool. Like, just to be there the whole week with his family and see my brother shoot 30 on the back nine. He was closing in on Jason Day and Jimmy Walker. Jimmy Walker ended up winning it. I would say that was a really cool moment, just to be there as a big brother, because he, you know, we tend to look up. I mean, I know Tommy looks up to you. You're his hero. And that was a really special moment to share with him. So
that's great.
Yeah.